What's up, guys? Welcome back. Today is something that I have been thinking about doing for quite a while. On numerous occasions, most times, multiple times a day, people ask me,
"What are your Pids, bro?
what's your tune? Do you use the presets in Flight 1? I see people ask that in other people's videos. It's a pretty common thing where you see a video and you like how someone flies and you're trying to get that dump, that nice dump from them, of the Pids. One thing I want to point out, and I would like to make evident with this video, is that
Go on!
I don't think that your Pids or your tune even matters.
You what?
A lot of people really focus on getting the perfect tune. They want everything to be perfect. They spend days tuning. They go out every single day for a month to get the perfect tune just to have a new firmware get released, and they have to do the process again. And it's just this endless cycle of So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my quad and I'm going to go back to the default Pids, just plain old stock Pids. And I'm gonna show you what stock Pids on Flight 1 flies like. I'll be flying my new prototype frame, the Willy 2700 kV 2306 motors. I'm rocking the GoPro Hero 6 Black. I'm running the Raceflight Revolt V3, and I'm using the classic Bolt 4-in-1 ESC. First things first, let's go ahead and ditch the sunglasses and get some real eyewear on. Now let's go see how it flies. Okay, so this is a pack on stock Pids. If you guys are wondering, we are basically in Nicole's backyard. As you guys can see, my quad flies pretty much perfectly fine. To be perfectly honest, I really don't even feel a difference at all how it flies. And let's do some rolls and flips and see how it handles it. Right roll. There's a little bit of like weirdness at the end. Kind of a quick stop, a little bit of bounce back, but it's not much. Woo! Let's try some flips now. Yeah, I mean, like, even with the hard stops, front flips. Let's try some back flips. It's a little bit of bounce back, but it's really not much, and it's actually, I mean, it's totally manageable. I mean, honestly, if you handed me this quad right now and didn't tell me that it was stock Pids, I would tell you it's a perfectly tuned quad. I mean, it seriously flies exactly like how my, quote, perfect tune flies. Minus the extra little bit of bounce back on hard pitch and rolls. But I mean, that's something that's really hard to get out anyway. You can pretty much just pilot it out all the time. I mean, the stick feel is identical. Handles the same, it throws the same, yaw's the same, it flips the same. Pretty much the same quad, even though I am on completely stock Pids and I'm stuck in the gun. Stock Pids cannot save me from that. As you saw, the quad flies totally fine on stock Pids. I honestly didn't even notice the difference between the normal tune that I fly and the stock Pids. Your Pids are never an issue. The Pids don't matter. Don't go out and spend days and days tuning your quad. Just go out and fly. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and put my normal tune that I fly back onto my quad. Also, disclaimer, I did not come up with this tune. This was a tune that Damian Gaines came up with. Goes by BlackBird FPV. If you guys don't know him, I'll put a link to his channel down below in the description. Super cool guy, he flies awesome, and I pretty much just rip off all of his tunes. So here is what my quad normally flies like with a normal tune. So going from stock Pids back to my normal tune was not a huge difference. I mean, the quad was a little bit more responsive to my stick inputs, but it was really not much at all. I mean, I could barely tell the difference. Only going from stock Pids to dropping the quad down, putting my normal tune on, putting a pack on, instantly flying again in the same spot under the same conditions could I tell that it was even a little bit sharper. And I drastically changed my tune. I basically doubled the Pids, which is a huge change that, you know, most people rarely ever go that far. Huge changes in your Pids do not actually change how your quad flies that much. But the things that do change how your quad flies, things like filtering, you know, especially changing from the different types of filtering in Flight 1 specifically, you know. I love the experimental filter. That is something that me and Preston worked on together, and I really like how it flies. The RC smoothing is another huge thing that will drastically change how your quad flies. The biggest thing that will change how your quad flies, it's pretty intuitive if you think about it, is the rates. You really need to spend most of your time figuring your rates out. The rates really change how your quad handles and feels, and people, you know, try and chase things like, oh, I want my quad to feel more responsive, I want my quad to feel duller, I want it to, you know, have tighter flips and stuff like that. But a lot of that is not your tune. It's pretty much all exclusively your rate. I basically found the perfect rate system for me, and I flew that for about a year and a half or so. It was only recently that I've tuned my rates down actually a little bit. And it's super nice. I love the slightly slower rates because now that being on the Futaba radios, they actually have shorter stick throws than the Free Sky radios. So turning the rates down a little bit actually makes it feel a little more like what I was used to when I was flying a long time for the Tyrannus radio, the rates that I used for that. If you liked the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.